This man walked into our office tonight and I said, who is that? 8 years in this town. I've never seen Larry Lage wearing a suit, but you read his stuff all the time. Larry Lage from the Associated Press. It's great to have you here. We've tried so many times to have you here. How you doing?
I'm good. I was almost going to wear a sweater, but I thought it was a little warm.
But it would have worked.
I don't want to step on Stoney's feet.
That's good. Well, hey, it's great to have you here, and there's some good things to talk about. Obviously, the 5-game winning streak for the Tigers has to make everybody feel a lot better now that the break is here. What's your take on what they're finally doing right?
It's about time. It's a season-long winning streak for them. They're now 2 games over 500 for the first time since their hot start at the beginning. Everything's starting to come together, and I think the big key is guys like Dumb and Young and Peralta coming together and doing what they were expected to do, along with the starting pitching, which has been pretty good for much of the season. If they can just get to this bullpen, they're going to win a lot of games, and they're starting to do that now.
Now, when you are in the locker room talking to a lot of these guys, what's the sense you get from them? When I talk to them, they all seem very calm, cool, collected. They never overreacted, no matter how bad it appeared on paper they were playing. What do you take away from the guys in the clubhouse?
You know, Dumb and Young has a line. He goes, sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. And so I kind of threw that line back at him the other day after he hit home runs in 3 straight games, and now he's done it in 4 straight games. They're really cool, calm, and collected. And, you know, they know with 162 games, they can't get too high or too low. You know, while preseason expectations were for them to run away with it, they didn't think they were going to do that. Now they're, you know, 3.5 games behind Chicago. They're in a good position, but they have to keep this up coming out of the break.
Now, late breaking news coming from our friend John Paul Morosi, who just said that it's likely Justin Verlander is going to get the start in the All-Star game tomorrow. Great tip of the cap to him. Some thought Jared Weaver might get it, but considering how Justin played last year, in addition to how he started this year, I think it's pretty fitting, don't you?
Yeah, and Justin was saying he wanted it to be on the merits of what he did this year, not on his Cy Young and MVP season. And I think he's done that. While his numbers may not be spectacular, he is spectacular. And Gardenhire last week was just raving about his mental toughness improving along with his stuff, where you just can't rattle him. And you can just see that between starts, during starts. He's just so confident. And why wouldn't you be with that stuff?
Let's shift gears, talk a little hockey. Really dramatic week where the Red Wings were right in it with Suter and Parisi until the very end when they slipped away and went to Minnesota. What would you do now if you were Kenny Holland?
Well, Kenny Holland plans to take about a month and really rebuild and take a step back. There may be a blockbuster trade or two. I don't think they're going to try to just scramble and get any free agent that's out there. I think they're going to really reevaluate where they want to go, but they definitely want to win and compete and hoist that cup again, and they may have to get crafty, maybe with a Bobby Ryan trade. I don't think Rick Nash is an option because I'm not sure Columbus would want to trade him to Detroit and keep him in the division. I'm sure Detroit would be interested, but I don't see them scrambling and throwing a lot of money at some free agent just because he's out there. I see them really kind of taking their time and trying to kick the tires on any possible trade and make a big one or two.
Now, you may hate to say this a year away, but there was so much focus on Suter. But do you take a little back step this year with the hopes of really going all at Shea Weber next year?
Well, that's the problem with the Red Wings, because they've had 2 decades of brilliance for the most part, at least in the regular season. It's so hard for this franchise to say, we're going to take a step back to take a leap forward. They think they're good enough now, and they think they're better than most people think they are, and they just need to make a move or two. But that defensive lineup really needs some help. The blue line, without Lidstrom, without, give them to me,
Stewart.
No Brad problem. Stewart went to San Jose. Thank you. Live TV. Brad Stewart. Without those 2 huge losses on the blue line, they need to really replenish the defense.